Your 4x4 is partnered by the Holden Colorado 7, Light Force Performance Lighting, Brown Davis Automotive, Kmart 4-wheel drive accessories, ARB 4x4 accessories, Piranha Off-Road products, Berrima Diesel, Hema Maps and Cooper tyres.
Today we covered some distance. We left Broome early in the morning, packed up, got some supplies, ready to go bush again for another few days and see some more of this magnificent country. Hi, I'm Sean O'Donnell from Light Force Australia.
And I'm Matt Wyatt from ARB in Alice Springs.
Well Matt, today we covered a bit of distance. We're headed bush again.
So many Ks to get underneath the belt and get out of town there. It was sort of a bit of an interesting one. Hi, I'm Andrew from DP Chip.
And I'm Natasha from Hema Maps. We travel on a steel highway, but what was important that Dave preset all the white points. And I think it's very important when you can actually set up the white points and travel by your positions.
It was good with communication too, wasn't it?
Definitely.
You could just ask one point, you know, I think Alan was sort of somewhere up in the front there and there was another group a little bit further back and you could just ask, well, where are you guys? I mean, is that you at the end of that straight? Because some of the straights here are 10, 15 kilometres long and you're still not sure. But sure enough, of course, they could call over exactly where they were on their position or we're just coming up to waypoint ABC.
Hi, Jeff Newey from Cooper Tyres.
Alan Johnson from Piranha Off-Road Products.
Well, Alan, when we hit the bitumen today, first thing we did was make sure we aired up the tyres. The tyre is a very large investment. First thing you want to do when you're off-road is let the tyre down, prevent damage, but then when you're on the blacktop, bring it back up so you prevent damage also. It's protecting that investment and making sure there's no damage on that very expensive tyre. We have to make sure we air up because, I mean, if you don't, the tyre overheats and a lot of times you don't see that damage until further down the track where the bead overheats and the tyre can come apart. We want to look after those things.
It was sort of amazing coming along those flat areas and then when we did get to the turn off and we sort of turned in onto the dirt there, obviously pulled up and let the tyres down.
Definitely.
Absolutely mandatory, I think, out here, isn't it?
Unless you've got a tyre pressure gauge, you're not going to know this. You start off in the morning at, say, 30. By middle afternoon, you're probably up to 40. You started at 40, you're probably up to in excess of 50. It's because of the sun and the heat and the vibration and all the rubbing and all the friction. It creates enormous heat.
Friction in the tyre does create heat.
And that creates additional pressure. So you do need to keep an eye on that. You can't think, I'm tickety-boo because I left this morning at a nice sensible pressure.
Yes.
Check it when you're hot.
The biggest thing is, people, just please let your tyre pressures down when you're off-road. You'll save yourself a lot of money and you will save your vehicle as well.
There's vehicles chewing up rocks in front of you and that sort of stuff. So I think it's a really misread bit of information, tyre pressures, and everybody's concerned about going too low. And again, I think we've said many times on this show that, you know, we've found people running 30s plus and we're sort of off-road in heavy corrugations. So, you know, I just pulled up, didn't even think about it, tyres were hot, straight down to about 18 on the front and about 20 on the rear, even though we're loaded up, tyres bagged out nicely and we had a great trip in. What about that deep water hole that we came through? That was pretty impressive on the road.
That was very impressive.
Hi, I'm David from Kmart 4-wheel drive. Well, today has been absolutely spectacular. We went to this beautiful place called Tunnel Creek in an area I've never been into before. It's an amazing place and just looks absolutely awesome. It was also really good to meet Dillon Andrews and learn about the indigenous culture out here. It's an amazing place, and I suppose a lot of us as people from the East Coast, we're not exposed to it like they are out here, and it was really interesting to listen to the stories and their culture out this way.
And of course we got to the great place we'd all been waiting for. Great sort of walk down in through the gorge. How'd you go with that one?
Well, that was phenomenal because, okay, we are been thinking, okay, channel, what is a channel? How big is a channel, isn't it? And then we've been confronted, and in front of us, it's a huge amount of rock and a big space where you have to go through it.
Well, our entry this week comes from Isaac Gannon, and Isaac has written, "I love my 4x4 because it can take the family anywhere, and it's created so many awesome memories."
Thanks for sending in that email. You've won yourself a HEMA Explorer app and a Piranha recovery bag. All entries go in the running for a Brown Davis long-range fuel tank, a pair of Lightforce Venom 50-watt HID driving lamps, and an RFI antenna pack, including an antenna, stubby holder, cap and water bottle. Plus, all fans are eligible for the big Cooper Tyres giveaway valued at up to $1,800. Check the YOUR4x4 website for full details.
Today's the day Dad brings home our brand new Holden Colorado. Dad says it's got all the bells and whistles and that it can go anywhere. Which is good because, well, we live in the middle of nowhere. It's got 3.5-ton towing power and lots of grunt under the bonnet too. We got a shiny new red one. Well, round here, it doesn't look new for long.
Let's go there.
Got a tough 4x4 tourer and enjoy hitting the tracks? Odds are you'll need some serious underguard protection and a heavy-duty long-range tank. Brown Davis Automotive offer aluminised steel underguard protection plates and long-range tanks for most popular makes and models. They're designed and developed right here in Australia and have been tested to the extreme right across this great country. Remember Brown Davis Automotive. It's a trusted and family-owned Aussie business and proud manufacturers of high-end tanks, underguards and more. Do you want better performance from your modern diesel 4x4? Then a DP chip is your answer for safe, reliable and enduring power gains. Backed by Australia's premier diesel workshop, a DP chip offers increased power and torque output, better drivability and can even improve economy. With 24/7 customer support, a 60-day money-back guarantee, a 6-year warranty, plus a matched new vehicle engine and driveline warranty, there is no other choice for safe, reliable and enduring diesel performance gains. Check dpchip.com for full details.
ARB, Australia's largest manufacturer and distributor of 4x4 accessories, has everything you need for your next off-road adventure. From bull bars and suspension to recovery gear and lights, we've got four-wheel drives of all shapes and sizes covered. Whether you're heading off to bitumen for a weekend getaway or preparing for that epic round Australia trip, enjoy a safer, more comfortable journey with ARB. To order a copy of our free catalogue, visit our website or give us a call.
Just behind here, they need to sharpen a lot of spears. Just down here.
Is that all the scratch marks?
Yeah, they used to sharpen the spears.
Jimmy, our guide, told us an amazing story about how the front nose of the cave or the entrance, there was an enormous rock. And when one of the tribal elders died, mysteriously that rock fell. Now that's sort of pretty interesting, isn't it?
It's scary for the size of the rock as well.
It is.
And we had to navigate our way around it and over it, and
Yes.
quite slippery actually.
And the rock, look, to put it the size, it was the size of a Volkswagen basically. It was pretty damn big.
It was quite tricky to get into initially. But once you're in, the whole thing opens up and it's just a huge cavern.
Inside the cave, the first thing you notice, guys, is when you get into it, the temperature changes dramatically. It is many, many, many degrees cooler. The second thing is the absolute serenity, that it's quieter, it's still, there's water in the bottom, you can just hear trickling water coming through. It's really got that sort of weird, sort of spiritual feel about it.
I think it was 750-meter walk through the tunnel, and I was not prepared to actually go through the water. When I was confronted, okay, it's water here, it's a little bit sand there, okay, which way I have to take, and it's only one way, it's like up to near the water, then you understand, okay, whatever shoes you wear, you have to put up with that and go for your journey.
Have to be prepared, wasn't it? I know, that's right. I mean, it was great.
And these wonderful pools, nice cold water, the place is remarkably different from the outside area.
Stalactites hanging from the roof, and there's bats in the cooler sections.
Language was created by the snake in the Windjana culture. And right in the middle there, you see the opening.
Halfway along, there's an opening where they can gain access. The bats must swarm out of there, I imagine. It must be quite spooky on a full moon.
We're underneath the Napier Ranges, and you could see plants with the roots are actually coming through the roof of the cave and coming down looking for water.
Lots of quartz and that sort of thing that were in the walls. Walking through the cave, it was absolutely beautiful, very surreal, and very calming actually, I found it. When we came out, it was like an oasis at the other end.
It is.
Some fantastic stories today. It's an absolute privilege to hear some of the history of the area going back so far.
From Annabella and also from Central Arundel. They were there to greet us, and I walked over and I said...
I was absolutely amazed when he started talking in native tongue at his lovely little spring there. That was just fantastic.
Gentleman's mother took him to look and stay.
You could walk through here for nothing, and there are some boards that tell you some of the stories and some of the history about the place and the geology of it. But the big thing you miss out on is talking to Jimmy and getting those real stories. And that's something that makes this place even more special again. It's well worth the effort, guys. You should definitely do that. And when you get to the very end, the beautiful thing is you get to walk back again and out the other end.
It's just absolutely spectacular. Pitch black if you all turned your torches off. Wading through water and through the soft sand and come back out the other side of the tunnel to the daylight was just absolutely spectacular.
Well, our question this week comes from Christina Beeching, who wants to know, will a rear bar be strong enough to mount 2 spare wheels and a high lift jack on my GU Patrol? Christina, great question, and we've got some great experts at Kmart to answer that for you.
Thanks for that question, Christina. A very important one as far as a lot of vehicles go. A very short answer to your question is that on your standard rear bar, no, you can't. Standard rear bars on most modern vehicles are plastic. Plastic with a small steel reinforcement section in the back of them. just to fill up gaps in the bodywork that are left by manufacturers, basically. The strongest, safest possible way of carrying 2 spare wheels is on a replacement steel bar. Steel bars are fully integrated to suit the vehicle. They are chassis mounted, which is super important to give you the strength. A standard rear bar doesn't give you the strength on the outside of the vehicle where the pivots are, and the pivots are the section which take the load and the vibration that the weight of the wheel develops. Most damage that is done on spare wheel carriers is by the vibration of the wheel. So having these solid steel bars directly chassis mounted is the best possible way to go. Now with these bars that you see here, the option of carrying a high lift jack is quite simple. It mounts to the centre of the wheel section here, or on some vehicles like your GU, there is a bracketry system that mounts to the back of the carrier, which keeps the jack nice and close into the car and keeps the vibration down to a minimum because it is closely mounted to the body. So in short, yes, a solid replacement steel rear bar is the best way to carry 2 spare wheels and a jack.
For sending in that question, you've won yourself a DP Chip merchandise pack including a Chippy doll, pen, keyring, cap and stubby holder, as well as an ARB prize pack featuring socks, a toaster and a cooler bag. All Ask an Expert entries go into the series draw for an ARB twin motor compressor, a Kmart $1,000 gift voucher for Osbar or Kmart products, and a 12-volt Travel Buddy oven for hot food on the go. Plus, all of our lucky viewers are eligible to enter the huge draw for $1,800 worth of Cooper tyres. Check the YOUR4X4 website for full details. If you drive a 4-wheel drive with or without a dual battery kit, then it's time to upgrade. Modern vehicles and modern battery technologies require smart electronics, and the Piranha Off-Road Products DBE 140 dual battery controller has all the smart grunt you will need packed into an affordable and tiny package. Priced at just $170, the Piranha DBE 140 is the smart choice in dual battery management. For more information on how you can stay charged, visit piranhaoffroad.com.au.
Warning, beware of imitation lights. Only Light Force performance lighting guarantees Australian made, no leaking or melting, quality output and 3-year warranty. Unlike their imitators, Light Force lights feature peerless construction, leak-proof seals, impact-proof lenses and filters, vibration and fracture resistant mounts and housing, and stainless steel fittings, outshining and outlasting their impersonators in every way. Often imitated, never replicated. Visit lightforce.com for the full range of authentic Light Force lights.
Sometimes the front runners lead from behind, and when it comes to protecting your rear, Kmart are world leaders in rear end protection and tow bar combinations. The just released Prado 150 is no exception, with a bar that is designed to follow the car's lines and work with your sensors and factory camera. For the best in rear end protection, trust Kmart. It's a statement, not just an accessory, for the toughest of 4x4 trips. For more info, go to kmart.com.au.
Back into the car again and then into the setting sun. Really tricky driving conditions.
Had to have plenty of good communication between all the vehicles because it was incredibly dusty out there. We had to be constantly telling each other what was going on further up the track.
In dusty situations like we had this evening coming in, make sure there is nothing coming or traffic we need to overtake.
Yep.
As you can imagine, a place like the Kimberley in the middle of the dry season, an incredibly popular and well-populated tourist spot, so there's plenty of people on the road, so it's not only for our safety but for everybody else's as well. We covered about 450 k's today to get where we are this evening.
Now, as always in Australia, if you want to go and see the place, you've got to cover some distance, Matt.
Mountain range, not spectacular with all that black and the beautiful colours in it.
And another thing is I really would like to mention, we can see the difference between four-wheel drive maps and street maps. People need to switch off on the devices to the four-wheel drive maps, and you can actually see the perfect track if it's sealed, unsealed, and much more information if you are navigating on the HEMA four-wheel drive maps.
If you want to try and squeeze a few things in your day,
definitely.
You've got sort of a bit of your tour guide with you, with pre-planning. You know at least roughly the time it'll be before you get to the next point.
Sun low in the sky, corrugated roads, the car shaking, dust.
But well worth it. And this is exactly why you put up with the hundreds and hundreds of k's of corrugations and dirt and flies and whatever is to reach places like this. And you get here at the end of the day and you set up camp and you know that it was a day well done.
Oh, it's truly magnificent. The rocks just soar above you, 30, 40, 50 feet. And it's like a cathedral again. I mean, it's just like almost like organ pipes, the way the sandstone columns are arranged.
And we timed it perfectly coming in here exactly on sunset. The colours were just phenomenal.
The colours, the textures, everything's just jumping out at you. It's just a sight to be seen.
We started off on the coast, beautiful white sand beaches, palm trees, come through a few hundred k's of driving in some open grassy plains.
Now here we are in this amazing oasis that really just jumps out of the plains, and these vertical columns of sandstone that just seem to, as you look at them, they just seem to change colour and change form. Really majestic place. You can see why the Aboriginals brought this into their culture and made it their own. It really is a remarkable thing to see with your own eyes.
Here we are, people setting up camp and ready to head down to those crocodiles.
Well,
give it a go?
I'd like to see what waiting for us there. We've been told it's about, I think, 70 crocodiles waiting.
I think something like that.
It's a lovely walk into the Windjana Gorge through the little tunnel. Good walking shoes are a necessity at this area, but they're just spectacular once you get in there and well worth making that effort to get in there.
Arrived here this afternoon and just in time to see what's over the shoulder, these little freshwater crocs.
Little fresh crockies. Now, I believe the actual botanical name is Crocodylus johnsoni or something, which is pretty cool because I'm a Johnson, as you well know, which means they're sort of my brothers out there. I feel sort of connected, which is a bit cool. Anyway,
they just look like handbags.
They're sleeping and they're doing nothing. They're just there. They look like they're logs or logodiles, as we call them.
Well, I dare you to go and jump in then.
No.
No, exactly. Exactly.
And it's been absolutely really enjoyable to come out to a beautiful area that's really well set up and enjoyable and full of fun for the families out here.
Our first entry this week is this NP Pajero, shown here on a recent club trip to Beachport in South Australia. Next up is this MN Triton, loaded up and taking the guys on a surfing trip near Ulladulla. Now check this out for a great view. The Navara is out on its first trip up to Mount Sterling in the Victorian High Country. And how peaceful does this look? The Hilux is snapped here in outback New South Wales while taking the family on an adventure to Uluru. The last entry for the week is this GU Patrol, travelling along the Gibb River Road in the heart of the Kimberley.
If you've just seen a photo of your rig and you're the first person to email Danny at your4x4.com.au, you've won yourself a Light Force stubby holder and tack torch, as well as a Brown Davis tub seal kit. All photos go into the running for a DP chip plug and go pedal chip, a HEMA HN7 GPS navigator, a Piranha DBE 140 dual battery controller, and a Piranha digital dual battery monitor. And don't forget, for your chance to win $1,800 worth of 4x4 rubber, check the Your4x4 website for details.
Well viewers, Danny, what a sensational day you planned for us. Out from Broome, on the road early, and we've seen some fantastic sights along the way.
Hasn't it been good, Simon? It was a bit of a drive into Tunnel Creek. Pretty corrugated, but it was a nice drive anyway. And we were lucky enough to have Dillon Andrews tour us through Tunnel Creek.
Now, some sacred sights in there, a lot of things we couldn't film, but we still got to see plenty of that cave. Absolutely amazing. And what a cool oasis with that water through there, spectacular.
Beautiful.
And some wildlife.
There was indeed. And now we set up camp at Windjana Gorge and just have a look behind us, the crocodiles.
Crocodiles here, right in front of us, easy to see. Now, Danny, a big day tomorrow though. Where are we heading?
It's a massive day, Simon. We've got to leave here. We've got 100 k's on the dirt, about 400 or 500 k's on the bitumen, and then a 2-hour drive into Pernalulu or Bungle Bungle.
Danny, sounds awesome. I can't wait for that. It'll be a big treat for the viewers. I'm Simon Christie.
I'm Danny Sparks Cousins.
We'll see you then when the Kimberley adventure continues.